Wow, that was lightning fast. um, hey, what's up? Daily vlog number. Go. Uh, it's Thursday night. Thursday nights kind of always felt to me, since I moved back to Japan in 2010, like the end of my work week. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that because parameters weren't in place, say, the first year and a half I was working here. But for a while now, I rarely have classes on Friday. I teach a really long day, in a way, on Thursday. So I get home Thursday night and I kind of exhale, and it really feels, not that Friday is the start of my weekend, but there's just this sense of relief on Friday because I know I don't have to go in and be prepared to do anything, which I know sounds weird, but it's kind of nice. It's a relief, and I can just hang out in the tutor center, help kids, take a leisurely lunch. Sometimes I tell my boss, hey, I'm going to go get my hair cut, or I got to go do this, or last week I had to go to the DMV and get my driver's license renewed. And she's okay with me, taking time off my time card and taking an hour to go run errands or something, go to the bank, or do whatever I have to do. Not a lot of kids come and actually visit me, especially in the mornings on Friday. Basically, if you're a college kid and you don't have to get up for first period because you don't have a class, are you really going to come and chat with the foreign guy at like 9:30 in the morning on a Friday? No, you're probably going to sleep in and not come to school until 10:45 when you have to come to second period class. But sure, I do help some kids in the morning. But they tend to come, if they had a first period class and then they have a free second period, I tend to see a lot of kids that way before lunch. And then after lunch, I generally prep for Mondays. Monday is my long day. But I'm obviously my first priority, because I'm getting paid to help students, etc. in the tutor center, is to be there for them. But if no one's coming, sometimes I read. We get Rolling Stone and Empire Magazine, a few other things, the newspaper. My predecessor read a lot of the actual ER books that we have, like the graded readers, like Tale of Two Cities, but like condensed for an audience that's not an expert reader. And we have tons of those books, and that's part of my job, to kind of keep that section all kind of tidy and stuff like that. But the media center staff actually do most of the work. I pull some books every now and then and put them out in the spotlight section, and it's really easy. So I prep for my other classes. I make, how I showed you the other day in my daily vlog, all those slides I make. I, look through the textbook, figure out, what the next quiz is going to be. I start to do that kind of prep for Monday on Friday, so I don't have to do anything school-related over the weekend. But this Monday is a holiday coming up in Japan. I forget what day it is. It's like, oh, I can't remember. Somebody leave it in the comments, or I'll tell you tomorrow in tomorrow's vlog. And so I don't have class on Tuesday, so I can prep Tuesday for Wednesday, which is a normal Wednesday, and then they took my 3 classes on Monday and put it on Thursday, the 18th. So I have kind of back-to-back busy days. Now, normally on Thursday, like I said, I used to have a first period class where we conference with another school. We've talked to schools in Peru, in America. We just got done with a series where we were talking to another university in China. Their students are studying English, our students are studying English, so we talk to each other about school life, family, traditions, culture in English. It's a great class, and I help with that. I'm not the lead teacher. I'm actually kind of like the technical support. So they chat in a text-based chat type of thing called Merc. If any of you are university people, you might know Merc. And it's like old school text chatting, but they can, chat one-on-one in a chat room with another person in another country very easily. And then they spend the other half of the hour on camera via video link, internet video link, chatting, face-to-face. But because in Japan, our what would you call it? I guess call it spring semester, extends all the way to the end of July. Most other universities in the world have already finished. Still sweaty. Here, let's see what it says. I brought this thermometer in here to see. Yeah, right now. Can you see that? Right there. 30 degrees in my air-conditioned room. And you can see there, I'm just getting this vlog in technically on the 11th. It's 11:24. So yeah, I got home at about 9:30. So my aircon's been on for about 2 hours, and it brought the room down from 35 degrees to 30 degrees. And hopefully it'll keep going. Maybe get me down to about 25 or 26 so I can maybe sleep. Anyway, enough about that. So yeah, so that class kind of really ends in mid-June. It probably ended while I was in America dealing with my mom. And yeah, I think it did actually. And anyway, so when I came back, so the last, say, 6 weeks of the semester, I don't have that obligation on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. So Thursday is actually another no class day for me. But I leave early. I leave campus early at 4 o'clock, and I go teach my other job, which I've talked about before. I teach an Eikaiwa, which just means English conversation classes at a local language school, just one night a week, just Thursday. I start at 4:45, and I go until 9 p.m. And I get paid by the hour? Not by the class. No, by the hour. I haven't thought about it in a while. I get paid by the hour, but obviously, you know, the hours that I'm actually teaching. So there's like a 45-minute gap in there where I get to kind of have a break and walk down to the convenience and get a snack and a beverage or something. And so, yeah, so it's just a little extra money. It ends up being, after she takes out a little bit of taxes, I think it ends up being about $350 a month if I teach, you know, 4 nights. So it's almost $100 a night. And so it's just a little bit more spending money. 'Cause boy, man, I just basically was talking to my sister, and she's going to have to lend me money. I mean, to get this flight back to America in the summer, $2,000, man. It's so expensive nowadays. Anyway, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about questions I get. Anyway, so before I say that, let me just say real quick, what was I was talking about for Thursdays, Fridays, the start of my weekend. So yeah, so Thursdays can be a long day, just in the sense that I leave my apartment, say, at 8:30 in the morning, and I don't get home until about 9:30 at night. But today, my Eikaiwa teacher, my boss at that school, emailed me and said, the air conditioner is broken, go home and put on like shorts and a t-shirt before you, because normally, of course, I go to work in, you know, if I'm wearing a necktie that day, or, you know, I mean, whatever, my business casual clothes. And she's like, no, go home and change first, because it's going to be hot here for the first couple hours, you know, while we get the windows open and the fans on. But we had no air conditioning, and it was hot in there, man. Japan, I tell you. So I did end up coming home today, but that's rare. Normally I just stay at school, and then leave at 4, drive down there, you know, go to the little convenience in the station, because the Eikaiwa school's right near the station, get a beverage or, you know, a little package of cookies or something to keep me over, and then I go to work and start. And so next week, as I just mentioned before, my Monday schedule of teaching 3 classes is moved to Thursday. So I have that and my Eikaiwa for like 4.5 hours, and it is just going to kick my ass. So I'm just, that night, if I manage to make one of these vlogs that night, you guys have to buy me popcorn or something. I don't know, man. Alright, 9:25. Do you want more? I don't know if you guys like them longer. I'm going to keep going, though, because this came into my brain, and if I don't say it now, maybe I'll forget to say it. I get lots of nice emails. Talked about this before. You guys sent me all kinds of things. You always also have a lot of faith in me as a source of information about the JET program, and I appreciate that. But I should caveat that with 2 things. One, I speak from my experience mostly, and so you've got to realize white American older male, single, all these layers of what makes me me. Of course, I've talked to many other jets, observed many other situations, yada, 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 but I'm still, my experience was my experience. And so I'm not the one-stop-all, know everything about jet. I also finished being a jet in 2009, and while I still have ties to the program, still know a lot of jets, etc., that was, whatever it was, 4 years ago now that I went home the first time. So I'm not exactly 100% up to date on everything. So a lot of times I'll get a question, I'll send people to Jet Program, Programme, the British spelling, while I drink out of my Tron Legacy glass here, and .org, O-R-G, jetprogram.org. And they have forums over there that are like legitimate. They're not like Big Daikon or some of these other, Gaijin Pot. Not that they probably don't have trolls and bitter people, they probably do, but they are moderated by CIRs and other jets, and they try to espouse legitimate advice and, offer up legitimate information. I would recommend going there. Sometimes you'll probably, if you search there, find a thread that is more in touch with your specific niche that I get asked about than I would ever be, i.e. being gay, being married. So many people email me about wanting to bring their pet. It's like, oh man, don't get me started on that. Not that I'm I dislike pets or whatever, but man, nah, if I say this, you guys, I'm going to get so many bad. Can you not really, seriously, live without your pet for a year? I mean, come on. I don't know. I mean, I realize that some of you plan on hoping to be a jet for 2 or 3 or whatever years, and if you came over here and you really wanted to bring them over, that would be the better thing. Come here first, check it out, then think about bringing them over, because all I know about that situation is there's quarantine involved. The animal has to stay somewhere in Japan for like a month. It's expensive. You have to, pay for their room and board, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's not easy. But yeah, I don't know about that. Of course, you can buy something when you're here, but then I guess, what do you do with it when you go back to America? Get a fish. But the other day I did get a question about being in a wheelchair, which it was a very nice email, and the person is, bound to a wheelchair, and this put my brain onto a thread of talking about special needs schools. So remind me, tomorrow I'll talk about special needs education. But anyway, I've never met a wheelchair-bound jet. There probably have been some. I've been to some conferences and stuff and obviously met a lot of jets. I just told them, honestly, if you want the blunt, honest truth, where I used to live in Shimane, it would have been tough to be in a wheelchair. Not only to navigate the schools, which are in various, levels of newness, but to navigate my town, which, of course, they have ramps and stuff here and there and elevators where they can, but Japan is just not set up. I mean, just trying to go on public transport in a wheelchair would be a nightmare in Japan for the most part. I don't know what it's like in Tokyo or somewhere more, with way more people. But out here, despite having a lot of old people, they're just not as handicap friendly. You'll see handicap bathrooms and stuff, of course, but I just feel like where I live, it's not. I mean, there are for certain things, like there's all this stuff for if you're blind, like all kinds of things, but I think that's a Dogs and Demons thing, and if you don't know what that reference is, I'll explain that another time. But yeah, it would be hard, but I want to find out for this person. So if you are a current jet or former jet and you've ever known anybody in a wheelchair that was a CIR or an ALT, let me know in the comments or send me a PM. I'd be very curious to know. And if Jet just he basically wanted to know, should I even apply, or are they just going to say, oh, he's in a wheelchair, boom, you're tossed. I don't know. Okay, I want to finish in 15 minutes. Thank you for watching another one of these. Peace. Yay, it's Friday tomorrow. TGIF. Bye.